Only Tim Ossick was not able to make it here tonight. I'm gonna do my. This is the first time trying this. I'm gonna do my impersonation of This American Life host Ira Glass. Act 1. If I can get everyone's attention, we're about to begin the show. Are we beginning the show now? Greetings, everyone. I'm Ira Glass, and I will be your announcer this evening. People don't know, tonight's a very special night. Thank you for joining us. Before the show, it's my duty. I'm gonna skip the Ira Glass thing. That's not working. To read the following official disclaimer. This show is generally intended for adult audiences. The views and opinions stated in this show by Andy Eppler are not necessarily and definitely not the opinions of the Left Hand Brewing Company, the Longmont Observer, the City of Longmont, the community at large, or really anyone except Mr. Andy Eppler himself. Andy Eppler is his own problem. Any complaints about the content of the show should be directed towards him. Thank you. Those were complaints. Yeah. Now, live from Left Hand Brewing in Longmont, Colorado, it's Longmont Tonight, and this is your host, Andy Eppler!
My God, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out to this show. This is my little attempt to sort of, almost create a time capsule of some of the community that we have right now. We have some great guests tonight, of course, Lindsey and Scott Ramser. Good friends, both. Before the show gets going, really, I have to read these announcements. This is just part of the reality of running a show. I hope that the radio that's on right now isn't loud enough to where we will get sued for copyright. Surely not, right, Peter? Great. Peter is not just a cameraman and a sound technician and a wonderful musician and husband and father. He's also my lawyer. He's wonderful. He gives me all the best advice. Did you hear that applause for your lawyering there, Peter? That's pretty impressive. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need to read these announcements. These are advertisements from local companies. We try and always support our local companies when we get a chance. Can we please get a round of applause for these local advertisers? They make the show happen. Now, this first advertiser we had last week, and I'm so glad that they've returned again. This is a little-known restaurant in Boulder called the Whisk and Feather Restaurant and Art Space in Boulder. A really beautiful small restaurant. They're a very free-range restaurant. This is the restaurant we read about last week. The staff and chef are also free-range. It's somewhat difficult to arrange a meal at the restaurant, but it's a high-quality restaurant, and the owner's Caroline. Let me just read this ad real quickly. These ads are getting longer each week, it seems. We here at the Whisk and Feather Restaurant and Art Space in Boulder are very proud of our mission. We are fully dedicated to the free-range lifestyle. We are Boulder's #1 free-range restaurant because our commitment goes far beyond the food we serve. That's nice, isn't it? It's nice to see some committed people in the world. Of course, every single piece of meat was respectfully raised in a free-range environment, and every carrot is grown and harvested and cooked without ever being separated from their families. What truly sets us apart is the free-range nature of our staff. All of the chefs and waitstaff are free-range themselves. In fact, what truly sets us apart is this very thing. I went to this restaurant the other day and paid for a reservation. Really had a wonderful evening, but none of the wait staff or chef happened to be at the premises at the time. But it's still a beautiful restaurant to hang out at. In fact, just the other night, one of our chefs finally happened to into the kitchen, and she had been hanging out in the large field behind the restaurant. But she wandered into the restaurant, and she cooked a baked brie with bacon jam. That's nice. So when they do show up, they cook high-quality food. That's really nice. I think that's nice. It seems like, baked brie, that's more of an appetizer. Whatever. It's nice that she got in there and cooked something. Running a completely free-range business is difficult. Owners Roberto and Dominique Flanders are excited to help coordinate your evening with our chefs and staff. See, this is going to fix my problem that I experienced. They are releasing the brand new Whisk and Feather Restaurant and Art Space pager system, where we can page you to let you know when chef and staff happen to arrive. Pagers require a $150 deposit and a page subscription to use the service. Subscription plans start at $50 a month. Reservations are required and cancellations incur a $50 fee. That's a great local restaurant on the corner of 59th and Baseline in Boulder. Baseline. Baseline. Thank you. I'm sorry. But let's hear it for that first advertiser. Goddamn, they're an important company. They're making this happen. All the money that we're making from this show is coming from these advertisers. Every single dollar that Peter and I are splitting between us is coming from these advertisers. And let me tell you, they pay a pretty penny, all right? I have another advertiser here. This is for the Easter Bunny Hatchery in Windsor. Has anybody been up to the Easter Bunny Hatchery this season yet? Easter's on the way, friends. Jordan and I went up there last weekend. We saw some of the bunnies that are ready to be hatched. They're not quite hatched yet. You know, you want baby bunnies for Easter. But let me read this quick ad for you. Every single year, after the cold, dark winter freezes the land and the heart, comes the glorious new birth of spring. What better way to celebrate than with a traditional crate of live bunnies from the Easter Bunny Hatchery in Windsor for your children to discover, hiding all around your house or property. Yes, Easter is a special time, and we keep that in mind every time we fertilize, warm, and hatch our bunnies. We deliver only the finest Easter bunnies, and unlike some competitors, we fill our crates to the very top with warm, soft, wiggling little bunnies. All of our bunnies have been fully tested for cuteness by the little 4-year-old girl named Tabitha. Isn't that cute? Little 4-year-old girl tests the cuteness of all the bunnies. But we have also recently been awarded the Golden Egg Award from the Easter Bunny Growers and Hatchers Association of America in the category of Most Adorable. Wow! That's a local company getting a nationally recognized award. Let's hear it for the Easter Bunny Hatchery. They're doing a great job up there. God damn it, the Easter Bunny people are doing a good job. Our specialty is our silky gray-coated bunny with white belly, mushy face, and floppy ears, white tail, and pink nose. You ever seen one of those? I can see it now. They're adorable. The most adorable kind of bunny, I would say, the gray bunny with the pink nose and the floppy ears and the mushy face. Each traditional bunny crate includes 24 baby bunnies of your chosen variety or mix of varieties. You could get yourself a calico bunny, get yourself a nice gray or a nice golden bunny, a nice cottontail. 24 baby bunnies included in the crate. Also included 1 mallet. Also included 26 tent stakes. The extra 2 stakes are just in case you damage 1 stake while attaching the chain or securing the bunny. 24 short-length chains. 1 postage-paid return label. Also includes 1 sealable, airtight plastic return bag. All this for only $29.99 plus the cost of shipping. That's a great deal for a box of bunnies, folks. Look, I've paid more for a crate of bunnies almost every year since I found this company. And I'm a traditional kind of guy. I love Easter. So $29.99 is really good. I paid $49.99 a couple years ago, and the bunnies didn't last but a couple days. I hid them all around the house. I didn't have any kids over to look for the bunnies, so I was missing that part. None of the bunnies were actually found, except over time, I suppose. The cat was curious. She helped find several of them. My cat's a wondrous little being. Would you like to hear the return policy? I suppose that's important. If for any reason you are displeased with your order of adorable, perfect, little representations of holiday joy, we do have an easy return policy. You can just put the bunnies in the sealable plastic return bag and put them back into the vented crate they arrived in. You then just attach the prepaid postage and mail them back to us. If you do decide to return your beautiful little bunnies back to us, we will unseal the airtight plastic bag and return the bunnies to the little 4-year-old girl, Tabitha, who we know can't wait to see them again. Happy holidays to you and your happy little bunny-finding children this Easter from the Windsor Easter Bunny Hatchery, now with ducklings. We put our hands together for the Easter Bunny Hatchery up in Windsor. Now with ducklings. That's right. One more ad. There just happen to be 3 of these every single week. Our most recent advertiser is a Colorado-centric dating app. It's unnamed yet, I guess, but it pairs Colorado residents with others based on cultural standards. Are you sick of meeting a man for a beer only to realize he's a basic blue ribbon swilling bro? Don't waste your time on other dating apps that don't share your values. Now you can screen potential lovers with filters such as beer preference, weed preference, and loyalty to the Denver Nuggets. This is super important. That's right. Jokic! Gary Harris! I'm a huge Nuggets fan. Can we just stop for a second? Is anybody in here a Nuggets fan? Is it just me? I'm not all alone. I decided in the preseason to care about sports this year.
Hey, no, Nuggets are number 1. Fuck you.
We're number 1. We're number 1. And you can tell Greg bitten that shit. My friend Greg is, that's right. My friend Greg is, we do a podcast every Monday night called The Late Weekend Show. And he is a huge fan of the Lakers. And the way that I judge these things is like between the mascots, because I'm not real hip to players or how the games necessarily work. I know I never bet on a game that doesn't have a round ball. That's one of my only rules. Round ball, I'll bet on it. Yeah, I can predict that a little bit. I don't know. But my friend, he is a fan of the Lakers, and I explained to him that, you know, first of all, a lake is not that impressive, okay? It's a hole in the ground that got some rain in it. Fuck you guys. And then if you put enough nuggets in a lake, no more lake. It's just as simple as that. And my friend John here loves the Warriors. He loves the Warriors. He's the only man on the Warriors train. But you take a bunch of nuggets and you hold them above the Warriors, you drop them on those dudes, they're all gonna die of nugget abuse. They'll be crushed under the nuggets. It's really easy to beat other teams with this strategy. So find new partners that have a certain Colorado pizzazz. I don't like that. I don't like pizzazz. Hello, Greg. I'm sorry about your team. Greg's team has a player on it who got hooked. And now he got hooked and he not played no mo game. He jumped too hard or something. One of the other millionaires, pushed him or something. I think I'm gonna have to drop this Colorado dating app thing. I don't like the word pizzazz. I don't think we're gonna deal with those guys anymore.
It's a great idea, though.
I think so. Unfortunately, our musical guest tonight couldn't make it either. We like to support local musicians when we can. We didn't get the chance tonight. But do, if you get the chance, look up David Prude and the No-Nos. They've got a new single, I'm Not Into That. It's off their new album, It's Getting Late. So, they're a great band. I sat around and discovered in the universe that they had actually put out more albums, which I won't inflict upon you at this point. But I do have a list here of previous work. Would you like to hear some previous work?
Yes.
David Prude and the No-Nos. It's a great local band. The first album was called Not So Touching Love Songs by Prude. Their second album was called Leaving Room for Jesus and Krishna and Buddha. About 12 of those. I'm going to leave them though. Last week, nobody said the secret word. Every week we have a secret word. You won't know what it is because I announce it on the next show, but if you hear it during the show, go ahead and cheer as loud as you can. But you won't know it until the next episode. Last episode's secret word was hypotenuse. Hypotenuse.
I know what that word means.
Yes, hypotenuse. As in the sentence, the naked starving man who is sweating and gritting his teeth against the pain of his own starvation, with all of the force remaining in his wraith-like frame, which had endured unknown weeks or months of walking in the unknown desert, which he could not recall ever having been separate from in any way, from his dry, flaking skin to his sore, creaking muscles, to his most inner knowing of himself, stopped in his tracks and was compelled by forces unknown to use what he was surprised and somehow relieved to find was his last breath to say the word hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. No one wins the prize, unfortunately. Next week, I hope that you win the prize. I know the secret word already, but none of us are going to say it because it's just not going to come up. So first, now that we can get along with the show, that was all kind of housekeeping, reading ads and commercials. We got to do the commercials. But now we're going to have our first guest join us. I'm going to have Mr. Tim Ostick, Ira Glass tonight. I'm going to have him now announce our next guest.
Act 2. She's a multi-talented artist, entrepreneur, longtime member of the Left Hand Artist Group. Please welcome Lindsey Cardiff.
Lindsey Marie Land. Is it?
It's my code name.
Is your code name? This will be your microphone here, Lindsey.
Thank you.
You just hold it like this, talk right into it with your face.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, Lindsey.
Oh, Andy.
Here we are.
With a room full of people staring at us. Hi,
It's
people.
mostly full, yeah. Let's not give ourselves extra credit. It's mostly full. It's 3/4 full. And that's worth being proud of.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
Thanks for coming.
You and I have been friends for years.
About 3.5,
3.5?
I think.
Seems like longer, doesn't it?
Yes. It's been excruciating.
In a very pleasurable way,
Yeah.
I'm sure. We met. Here, I'll tell you how I recall we met, and then you can correct me because I'm almost certainly wrong. I think I met you at Art Walk in Longmont, and I think I was quite stoned, and perhaps even running Art Walk or running a Left Hand Artist Group event, and I was walking down the street and I saw you with a booth, and you had forest painting purses. Is this the story? Is this real?
That's the story. It's definitely, you probably were really high, but you were also the most excited person I'd seen that day. So I was pretty happy about it. It was in the enchanted forest of Art Walk, and Andy came stumbling upon my purses and was like, "You should come to this party up here at Incident Prints." Oh my god! I show up and he's not even there.
That sounds right.
I'm leaving. So I started following the group on Facebook, stalking it for a few months, and then eventually showed up with a drill. Power tools.
What were you drilling?
You guys were making a giant human foosball table. So I showed up to volunteer.
I have mixed feelings about reporting that is my fault as well.
It was.
Yeah. That was me being stoned on the internet instead of in the street. And I saw a video of a big human-sized foosball table. It's like maybe like as wide as this area and maybe like, I don't know, 12 feet long or something.
It's probably wider,
Yeah, a little wider. It's actually just a big box with some poles in it with PVC
All
pipe.
of us could fit in it.
Yeah. And it's a bunch of stoners in it kicking a ball around like foosball dudes or whatever. I saw that and I said, what a beautiful representation of community. I think I'll bother Don Wilson about this. Make it someone else's problem.
Yep, I set it up for the festival in Maine and then I ran away. I tore it down for Woody's first anniversary party and I set it up and monitored it for Rhythm on the River and I've still never played it.
I've never played it either. Now, that was okay. So that's when I became aware of you, and then very shortly after, Left Hand Artist Group became aware of you. What were you doing before that? Living on the streets?
I was writing car estimates when you get in an auto crash.
You were writing car estimates?
Yeah, I was an estimator.
For like insurance?
Yep, for body shop. So I was like on your side.
Were you the lady that was like showing up and looking at like the burned carcass of a car and seeing like the teenage girl's bracelets, little braces embedded in the front dash or whatever, and you're like, not so bad, what's the big deal? Was that your job basically?
Luckily those don't make it to body shops, but I've definitely heard all of those stories, unfortunately.
Because that would be not the most uplifting job. I liked the job you have now much better.
Yeah, I can sleep better now.
Oh. Let me ask you this. My car is a piece of shit. I'm sure you've seen and noticed. We all have. If I wreck it, but I don't have insurance, I lose. But if I bet against myself by paying for insurance and then I wreck it, I sort of half win.
Depends on the damage. You still have a deductible to pay.
Right. Yeah. But what if like a mafioso guy puts like a bomb on the ignition and I escape miraculously because I don't look it, but I'm super quick. And let's say I jump out of the car just in time, casino style, but it blows up, and there's no evidence of what happened. Maybe it was some mysterious mafioso that we don't know the name of, certainly not me. If it blows up the car, that's insurance fraud if I try and do it, if it's me blowing it up?
If you blew it up, yes. Yeah. And then filed a claim and said someone else blew it up, yes.
Well, I would
if you
never
blew it
do
up
that.
and still called and said I blew it up, you might still be covered. It kind of depends on how it works.
Okay.
He's done this before.
Could you...
I talk to a lot of crazy people. I do hang out with artists and musicians and Longmont.
Now I'm always looking for a side hustle, So, I want to know, when I walked across your booth and I saw your purses, those are made out of actual paintings, right?
Damaged oil paintings.
Damaged oil paintings.
Yeah.
And you took the canvas off of the thing you made.
They were never stretched, so they got smashed and water damage and squished.
It's amazing how many different forms of art you get into. Can you tell me kind of like how many fucking things you do? Because I know that you
I
like...
should count one day.
Yeah,
I
yes.
usually just tell people I can do...
Let us count together. As she names an art form that she's affiliated with, will you shout out the number? We'll all list them together and we'll see how high we get.
10.
So let's see.
Probably around 10.
10's good? Painting, that's one, right?
1.
Drawing.
2.
Logos.
3.
Purses.
4.
Chalk art.
5.
Mixed media.
6.
That was a weird one, though, right? What is that?
Tattoo, drawing.
7.
I do not tattoo, I want to clarify.
No, that was a clarification, not part of the list. Clarification, not part of the list. 7, we're on 7.
No, what did you... You have your hand up.
Exotic dancer.
I said 8.
Ugh.
Exotic dancer? Tremble.
No.
Random guests on comedy shows.
Hey!
I played Pictionary yesterday at Wibby. I was forced.
Nice. You're
Can I see you like?
Cool facts.
What do you do with leather?
Yeah, I like hanging on the street corners and working my boots.
15. That doesn't count. Wow.
I don't know.
I think we might get to 10.
Wood burning.
You do the wood.
Wood burning and drizzling.
Oh,
Is drizzling
she
separate?
snuck 2 in there. That's unfair. We're really at 11. You snuck 2 in there. You forgot the format.
Glass etching.
It's
That's the
drizzling.
same thing.
No, it's not.
Okay.
She welds. She welds.
Pumpkins.
Pumpkins!
Pumpkins.
No, we're not saying, we're not repeating what she said. We're trying to count what she said.
Well-
When she says pumpkins, we say 13.
13.
Hypotenuse.
14.
I believe.
I mean, I did the kegs for Growler USA, but
Oh,
I
that's
think
right.
that's
What is
still
that called?
painting, so that
Kegging?
wouldn't count. Kegging.
Kegging?
But I think that's still mixed media and painting.
I've seen you do some kegging though, I think.
I do work beer events a lot.
Vice President.
I throw parties.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm the
right.
vice president of Left Hand Arts Group and Art Walk Club.
14.
That's 15.
17.
20?
Two vice presidencies.
I think that. Is everybody sufficiently impressed?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's
Er-
also my bestest
She's
friend.
the best. All right, let me bring up somebody else to be impressed with. Please put your hands together for Lindsey Carnage.
Act 3, puckered up. He's a songwriter, community builder, and martial arts expert. Please welcome Scott Ram Sauer.
Scott, I appreciate it. What a goddamn delight.
Now, Scott's a professional ninja, and that's all I want to talk about. He's a professional ninja. Scott, is that right? Is that 100% true?
I am a professional.
Yeah. So, 50%. Not bad. Scott is a great songwriter and also a martial arts expert. I know he's a martial arts expert. I actually took a martial arts lesson, or a few lessons, I guess, from you, right?
He is phenomenal. Andy is an ass kicker. Andy is an ass kicker.
I love asses, but really, Scott. Now, it's just us. We're all friends. You're not going to hurt my feelings. What is my ninja level? I asked Scott. I
have this on film. Andy came and he did just a workout. It wasn't even a lesson. He said, "Don't teach me. I'm unteachable. Don't teach me. Just let me be. Let me be here and learn." And he broke a brick on his first lesson. He broke a brick.
Tell him what part of my body I broke it with, Scott.
It rhymes with brick.
Scott, you have a new show coming up, don't you? You're doing a back porch kind of show?
Yeah, we were going to do a back porch thing, but we didn't think as many people would see it, so we decided to do it on the front porch. It's a front porch kind of a thing.
Free joke.
Hey-o. No, yeah, a while back I inherited a bunch of instruments from a family member who is my godfather, who is no longer with us. And I decided to learn how to play all the instruments that I had inherited, which were none. I didn't know how to play any of them. And this started about almost 3 years ago now, maybe 3.5, 4 years ago.
About the time our community ran into Lindsey Carnuth.
Yep, that's no coincidence, by the way.
No, it's the same thing.
Yeah. We found Lindsey in the vault. In the vault.
She was squished up inside of a mandolin.
Yeah.
Let her free. We planted her in the ground.
The mandolin. She dropped
She-
her way out.
Yeah, she's about as big as the mandolin. She's tiny. No, did that, and I decided to try to learn how to play them all. And in doing that, I kind of went out and sought all of the community here in the Front Range and tried to find. There's some people who are really talented bluegrass players along the Front Range, and I met a lot of them. And I'll plug all of our good buddies. We got, if you know them, clap for them. Taylor and Bonnie Sims.
I know that.
And Eric Wiggs.
He doesn't wear real wigs, but he's still a good dude.
Yeah, exactly. So many to count and so many to say, but met them all, and they took me into the ring and taught me how to play the various instruments that I've got, and it's been such a fun time. So I decided to try to learn how to play them, and in the process of learning how to play stuff, you tend to come up with some ideas of your own, and I've written a whole bunch of songs, and so I thought that it would be fun to invite some of the people that had helped me kind of learn all this stuff to come to my front porch, play some of their stuff, and then kind of help me write and finish some of the songs that I've made up with these last things. So I thought it'd be fun to involve the community, kind of fun, and hang out on the front porch. And my neighborhood's very dangerous, so there's an extra added kind of flavor to that because we're sitting on the front porch, and sometimes you have to take cover a little bit.
And all of your instruments are left-handed instruments?
They are left-handed, yeah. I'm not left-handed, but all of my instruments are, so it's a unique experience attending one of my shows.
Dude, I've tried to play a left-handed guitar. It felt like it was from another planet. Maybe, here's an idea. Maybe the guests or whatever that you have on your jam, you force them all to play the left-handed instruments for like one song. See what you get.
I'm so into that.
That's a good idea.
That's going to be great. There are a lot of people who are not going to like you very much at all.
It's a long list, Scott. It's a long list for motherfuckers who don't like me. That's okay. Everybody gets to have an opinion, and I'm just so glad.
Can I tell you a great story about Andy? Andy was telling the first time he met Lindsey. I'll tell you the first time I met Andy. Okay. So I went to the imprints shop for the first, not for the first one they ever threw, but for the first for a left-hand artist auction. And it was 3 years ago, right about the time where I kind of started to get to know everybody. And I was so excited because I had this front porch idea 3 years ago. But I thought, what a great idea to invite all these local people to play music with me when I'm really not sure what I'm doing. And I think it'd be a really great idea just to have them all come over and play, and then I'm going to try to play along with them. And I went to my first bluegrass jam, and I didn't know how to play the instrument that I brought. And I found out very quickly that probably was not going to be a concept that was going to fly. In my head, you know how it works in your head? You're like, this is going to be great. We're going to have a great musician here, and I'm going to try to play along with him. It's going to be really funny. And I didn't get any laughs at my first bluegrass jam. In fact, I had a very nice older lady who is a super experienced player, and she goes, after I played, she tapped me on the knee and she goes, "That was really nice, sweetie, but you played it wrong."
Oh, crushing.
Yeah, so 3 years later, I've decided to dust that idea off, and maybe we'll do it again. But now I met Andy at the auction, and I came to him with this great idea, and he was, you know how Andy is. He gets on and he stares at you, right? And he just into your soul,
like a psychopath.
Yeah, into your soul. Andy's like looking at me, and I'm telling him this great idea, and I've got him. I mean, I can see it. He's just looking at me, and his eyes are just, and he's nodding, and he's smiling, and I'm like, this is going to be the best thing ever.
You got him or he got you?
Yeah, and I totally went, I high-fived him, went back to get whatever the free barbecue was at the event, and came back, and I was like, so, what do you think our first day to do this is going to be? What do you think? And he goes, "Hi, I'm Andy Eppler."
Yep, that sounds right. Yep, at least he knows his name.
It's a positive.
That was a good day.
It's always a good positive.
Not always one of the things. There was one time when I was in college for a very short period, as you might be able to tell from my sensibilities. I'm not well educated. I married this lady, but I had to meet her 4 times before that. So she experienced that 4 different occasions. Where it's like, hey, I'm talking, flirt, whatever, go away. Hey, I'm Andy. Flirt, flirt, flirt. Go away, whatever. And over a week, I think I met her about 4 or 5 times before it stuck. Shit just doesn't necessarily stick. This was before I was interested in weed at all. My brain's always been broken, you know. You're a very memorable dude, Scott, and I'm sure whatever chemicals were swirling in my consciousness the first day we met, all I really wanted was to talk to you again and be re-inspired by meeting you. I'm sure that's what it was. Oh, look at that, I got applause. That's nice.
We'll say a couple of nice words about Andy too. I kind of, at his expense, made a couple of jokes there, but he, which is my favorite kind of expense.
Hey man, there's a big bank account for jokes about me. Make them
Other
expensive.
people. But yeah, seriously, Andy is probably one of the nicest people in this community, one of the people who brings it all together. And this show is a great idea, I think, and it's great to get people out and talking about what's going on here. This vibe reminds me of like the old Athens, Georgia, back in the day when the B-52s were coming out. Longmont, Boulder, kind of, and all that magic that happens in between. We've got a lot of great artists here, and a lot of people that are worth hearing, and a lot of people that that this guy's probably responsible for giving a push, you know, giving a boost, saying, you know, why don't you, I'm sure people come to you and they say, I've always wanted to do this, and I'm sure your response, like it was to me, was, what the fuck are you waiting for? Just get out there and do it. And so Andy pulls a lot of people together, and he's responsible for a lot of things that have happened, especially the Left Hand Artist Group. So I think we need to give it up for Andy tonight.
Alright, and now I'm going to end the show. Please put your hands together for Mr. Scott Ramsey there. He's a good man. Thank you for coming out to the show. We'll be back in next week with other guests, Brandon Hagan and Shannon Address. I may wear a dress. Maybe we should all wear dresses that night.
All wear dresses,
Yes, we should. We'll all wear dresses, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for being around. See you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Eppler.